Let's talk about prototypes. So prototypes are extremely useful in order to bring an app to the next level and to find any flaws or potential issues in a specific user experience. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a prototype, what exactly is a prototype, and what are the best tools out there in order to create one from scratch in an easy and fast way. So essentially what the prototypes enables you to do is to create a version of an app which is essentially an MVP, so a minimum viable product, and that is going to enable you to see what an app is going to look like, but also interact with it before even doing one single line of code. So this can essentially help you save time and money, since you won't need to involve developers, and you're going to be able to showcase this prototype to stakeholders and also the internal team. So over the years, I actually tried many different softwares to create prototypes, and one of the best ones, in my personal opinion, is Figma. And the reason being is that you can not only design the actual app inside of Figma, but then you can use and leverage the prototype features in a fast and efficient way. And I'm going to show you exactly how in just a minute. Now, there's several case scenarios where you might want to consider prototypes. The first one being is if you want to show a idea or a new concept for a startup, for example, and this can be to potential investors in order to raise some money, or even to create usability testing sessions with any given user or a person who would be referenced in the target market. But just before you get started, I want to remind you that I recently launched a free course on how to get started in UI UX design. So feel free to check it out if you're interested in joining this field. And now let's jump right into the video. Okay, so we're back in Figma, and now we're going to create the actual prototype. So let's go ahead and let's select the very first screen. So in this case, we have an iOS app, and we're going to select the prototype mode on the very top right hand corner. And what we're gonna do next is we're going to select the button. And as you can see at the very right of the button, you're going to be able to have this connection point. So you simply click on the plus, you move it to the very next screen. And as you can see, this new menu opened up, and you can select if the interaction is going to be on click, on drag, while hovering, or also one of these other options right here. You can also decide the screen where you're going to be navigating to. So over here you have all of the frames and artboards inside of this Figma file. And you can also decide what type of animation that you're going to have in the prototype. So let's click on the present icon in order to see the prototype. And basically this is going to give us a live preview of what the prototype is going to look like. So Figma is taking a moment. And as you can see, we have the very first screen. And if for whatever reason the first screen is not the one which you desire, you simply have to move this flow option right here to the right screen, and you're going to be redirected to the right one. So let's go over here, let's click on login. And as you can see, we have an instant animation between the previous screen and the following one. Now, as we do this, we can also change the different options in the animation. So if we click on dissolve, for example, and we try this again, we can see that we have a nice dissolve effect if we actually go from one screen to the other. We can also choose the duration right here, and also any option regarding the ease in, ease out effects, and essentially how this is going to look like. We can also use the new Smart Animate tool in order to create smart animations. So if we try it this time, you can see that the same elements are going to essentially animate in a way that makes sense in the transition. And yeah, this would be pretty much it. So let's continue with the actual prototype. And what we're gonna do next is we're going to select this login button, and let's move it to the very next screen. So over here, we're going to go with the Smart Animate tool, and let's do the same also for this one. So as you can see, you can create prototypes in a very fast way, and also leveraging and selecting all of the different elements in Figma. So this makes it for a very easy experience. And overall, let's go, for example, over here. We're going to select this one to bring it to the settings. So we're trying to overlap and interlink all of these different screens all together. And if we try and do this all again, so we're going to start with the flow one. I'm going to click on play, click on login, and then this one is working fine. Verify now. And if you don't like the Smart Animate for whatever reason, you can always go back to the instant or the dissolve options. Those are usually the most common ones. As you can see, we have pretty much everything set in this case. However, the settings, we cannot go back. So we need to create another anchor point to go back to the previous screen. So let's do that right now. Let's do that also for these other arrows. And let's also finish up with the last one. So as you can see, if we try it again, each and every one of these arrows are going to be organized in a way that enables us to go back to the previous part in the flow. So this would be pretty much it when it comes to the prototyping features here in Figma. I also created several other videos where we go in much more detail on both Figma and the prototyping tool. And also recently launched a course on Figma. So if you're interested in learning more about this software, feel free to check it out. But on my YouTube channel, I have over 100 videos on Figma completely for free. So feel free to have a look, and I'll see you in the next one.